Hi there. So it's being called a historic nuclear deal with Iran, and obviously for some positive reasons, not negative reasons. Those skeptics who are concerned about this deal are uh, having different thoughts about it, different opinion about it. But those who are in favor of this deal are uh, having a viewpoint that Iran, a nuclear wannabe nation, would come in under the umbrella of NPT and CTBT or whatever it is these days. They will come under the umbrella of those nations where they have to follow conditions, where they have to abide with all the rules and regulations of, and they understand the severity and seriousness, gravity of having nuclear power, whether it is a nuclear energy for electricity or some other reasons, or whether it is defense purposes, for defense purposes, that is a bomb. So this deal is not advertised yet by both the sides, that whether what will be the condition if they choose to be sanctioned, if they are okay with sanctions and they violate the deal and sanctions are imposed on them, they are okay with sanctions and they violate it so much that they start developing bombs, then what will happen? What will the world do? Obviously Iran hasn't advertised it. Iran hasn't explained the clauses are there or not. Why would Iran do that? But the world should do it, and thankfully that it is world with Iran. The deal has happened between world and Iran, not USA and Iran. But it's still vague what will happen in that context, that they are okay with sanctions and they are violating the deal and they are developing bombs. What will happen then? Will there be a war with them? And what kind of war? Will there be a nuke war with them? Or will there be just inspections and they will try to acquire the possession of all these developed nuke bombs there? So it's not yet known by the world, and it will be coming out in how many years if media just underplays it and starts saying that it was a historic deal and all that bullshit. So it is a historic deal, and and for negative reasons. That's what my belief is, because their path of getting a new bomb is cut off. That is not true. Practically, their path is paved nicely and macadamized now to get a new bomb in any point of time in future, or even next year they can have it. So 15 years they can have 300 kilos of uranium, enriched uranium, and they can have one bomb but not two. one bomb one bomb, and they used it, then another one bomb will be there. So just one bomb and they will use it, and that's it. You cannot use second bomb. That is not there. One bomb they can have always. If they used it, then what? Second bomb will come or not. So that is there, and I think that this will cause a lot of upheaval in this region, Middle East region, and Israel versus Iran can happen, Saudi Arabia versus Iran can happen, and probably Saudi Arabia and Israel will obtain nuclear bomb by some wrong means as well. They can have it, and obviously they are entitled. They are. I mean, it would be easy to explain why they are obtaining those bombs, and what if ISIS ruled northern Iraq and northern Syria, obtained the bomb as well to save themselves from Iranian Shia militia. So it's gonna be a dangerous session for another next 5 years for Mid East. The thing is that the burning state of Middle East was not extinguished by this deal. It was rather more inflamed. So how can they call it a historic deal? Sanctions should be removed, that I said. Sanctions were removed, and now Iran will have all the opportunities and chances to improve its economy, and that is rightfully so. We should always give all the countries this chance of bettering their economy, even if they are religiously inclined towards fanaticism or anything. We should not remove the chances from a country, a sovereign country, because this brings them on the right track. Business always brings them on the right track. So sanctions are removed, that is a good thing. But sanctions will be imposed if they develop a bomb. That is not a good thing. We should say we won't impose sanctions in any kind of situation, any kind of circumstance. But we would have a cut across base in Iran, always situated. You know what I mean? Cut across base, I call it, when you have one nation in between the two similar kind of nations. Like Iraq has ISIS problem, and here is Pakistan has Al Qaeda problem, and in between is Iran. So to stop the connection between ISIS and Al Qaeda, we make a cut across base in Iran. That's what I'm prescribing for UN forces or coalition forces or US forces. If US has become the big buddy of Iran overnight, so a cut across base would be a better thing. They will always be there, they will always inspect them, they will always try to obtain a snatchback if they have developed a bomb. They will have the possession of that developed bomb, so, or those bombs. So, and they will try to monitor and a little watch over their long ballistic missiles where they are heading towards. So a cut across base is a nice solution for this fiasco that this deal has created. And another thing is that we should have a certain clause in the deal that if they make a bomb, we won't impose sanctions on them again, we won't snap back the sanctions, but we will have a war till we change the regime, till we acquire all the bombs and destroy and defuse them. So that should be there. So I was saying, it just turns off when I change my position in the hand of the handheld camera. So anyway, I was saying that now what's going to happen in Middle East with this deal in hand, Iran will be a pretty dominant country in the world, in this region and the world too. It will become an ally of Russia and China. Russia, China, Iran, Pakistan, India probably with them, or India is with US. Then US has very few options now left, and we can understand what kind of 18 billion deal it is. So we cannot rule out the possibility of corruption and warmongerism behind this deal. USA has reduced its strength considerably by going into this deal and hastily signing it over. And now Iran has an option of going with Russia, China, North Korea, and France can come in it too. And then only US will have England and France or Germany and Australia and probably India. India will be handled by Pakistan, 2 nuclear nations and 3 nuclear nations around India. So India has limited options too. India's options are also cut off by this deal as well. So India will not go with USA now. This is what I'm predicting now, and I don't know whether the business thing can rule so much over security issue. I don't think there's any business prospect in this world anymore. This world is going towards a warring phase, and ISIS and its presence and tensions in Ukraine and tensions in everywhere can make countries choose their global policy wisely, and they can ride over business and professional business gains, and they can polarize nicely now. And what can we say about USA? USA has done it by themselves. The recession, and then Iran getting a new bomb. So Israel is another ally, has become alienated from them, and Israel will have limited options as well. So one option for USA is to give Iranian filmmakers more Oscars. Okay, so this is gonna happen. Global policies are gonna change because of this very deal, and now Saudi Arabia will ask for this nuclear power, and probably will obtain it too, because its money is tremendous. And then Israel will ask for it because they are a secluded community, and so they are finding themselves alone here. They are insecure about Iran and ISIS in Iraq and Syria. So, and they have a right reason, good reason for that. So, and America is becoming non-involvement, non-interference policy follower. So this is gonna, some would say that it's gonna balance the world in a negative, in a unorthodox way, like America will not have a say in anything, and China and Iran and Russia will dominate themselves on every Western Europe and modern world, the economically developed nations. They will, these BRICS or BRICS will dominate over EU and America, USA, and why is being done? I don't understand that. Probably some have foreseen that U.S. people, U.S. warmongers are after a World War III. So it is being done like that. Anyway, we have a lot of time to analyze this situation. This is a very interesting situation for anyone who has interest in world matters. So this is it, and now US should ask for world should ask for Iran's help in wiping off ISIS for once and for all. If they are not sponsoring it, or even if they have it sponsored, but now they should remove ISIS from northern Iraq and northern Syria. And then we'll see where as ISIS, the monster, emerges its hands or mouth in what continent. As I said, if we don't do boots on ground in Iraq and Syria, we have threat of this monster showing his head and legs in some other continents, in other continents like Europe and North America. And terrorism is going on in any case. So sponsor attacks are happening. But the absolute invasion can take place too now. So Iran should help us in wiping off ISIS from northern Iraq and northern Syria. Then we'll have some other groups who will call themselves ISIS, who will have the same flag and would try to use the same infrastructure and network that ISIS always enjoyed in using. So that's how it is. ISIS is a big time prick in the ass of world. So and Al Qaeda and ISIS will be there with US reducing its power and becoming gay. This is hopeless deal, really. Anyway, we'll come back with something new and something fresh in the world. And next video blog of mine would be, or interview would be on my good world prospect, that is a plant-based economy. Plant-based economy even the terrorists need. Now it would be for me. It would be anyway. So this is it. Bye bye.